Juices flowing.
Yeah, I've been ready. Born ready!
Born ready! Well, hello, good people of podcast land, and welcome to Juices Flowing, where we are the Niagara Falls of passion. I'm joined...
Speak for yourself.
Well, let's find out, shall we? I'm joined at this time by
I'm
my
the Victoria Falls of resentment.
So, that dulcet Irish voice you hear on the other side of the couch is my friend and, dare I say, mentor,
Oh, fuck no.
Joe McManus.
Mentos.
How are we?
Good. How's it going?
Yeah, good.
Lachlan.
That's me.
What
I'm your host.
What is the actual tag
What's the tag?
at the moment?
Juice. Oh, me. Good question, because yeah, I've
I knew you
flirted
were
with a few.
I knew you were in nappies, so that's Lachlan.
Yeah.
And then afterwards,
No, well, I've come full circle, and I'm introducing myself as Lachlan to people
by
again.
Jesus,
Yeah, right.
circle of life.
Yeah, it's like Prince, you know.
So I was trying to think on the way in the car, like, you were still at school when I taught you guitar.
Yeah, I
taught you some guitar.
Yeah,
What, like, but how many years ago is that?
that's half my life ago. Joe.
15?
I was 13 when we started.
And what you now?
I'm 28 next week.
So that's 15 years ago.
Mm.
That's 15 years ago.
Yes.
That's 15 years ago.
I
Now,
know.
if you divide a life up into 15 sections of 15, you got the first 15, second 15 gets you to 30, third 15 gets you to 45, fourth 15 gets you to 60, and then the fifth 15 gets you to 75. Many people, if you drop dead, they'd say, he lived a good life. So you get 5 of the sections that we've spent knowing each other.
Wow.
That's not fucking much.
No.
We're all going to fucking die.
Aren't we? And isn't it great?
Yes. Death is the only way out.
The only way out is through, I'm told. Whatever
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is true. Yeah, it is true. You can't avoid stuff.
Yeah, your problems are only just going to come back in another way, shape, or form until you face them.
The only way out is through.
That's something I've learned in that 15 years.
Yeah, you learned a lot. I've learned fucking nothing. I haven't changed at all in the last 15 years.
What?
I don't think I've changed at all in the last 15 years. I have. I fucking learned a lot. I know everything now.
Yeah, what have you learned?
Everything.
Everything there is
I
to
know everything now. Yeah, I'm the
Well, what's something you can rattle off the top of your head that
you might not know?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you
Yeah,
would be
like it's a
impressed.
Sunday, you're kind of almost dressed in a priest outfit.
Oh,
so.
fuck off. I spent 2 years studying to be a priest,
So
you know?
dispense, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about that journey?
I'll keep it short. So when I was growing up in Ireland, in the middle of Ireland, in a town called Ros Comáin, it was just Irish Catholics as far as the eye could see. You didn't have, in, say, Newcastle, you've got this smorgasbord of religions and all kinds of tastes and flavors, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was political flavors, but there was only 2 of them, really. And then there was just one fucking religion. A couple of exotic sort of bird of paradise Protestants roaming around, but very, very exotic and kept to themselves. So really, this God that they were telling me about from childhood was the only fucking way. It's not as if I had any choice. I wanted to be a musician, but I couldn't do that well enough to get gigs. So I said, fuck it, I'll work for this bloke. He seems like a nice guy. So, but the key to that was, I thought once I get on the inside, they're going to show me some of the secrets that this guy in the dress knows. Because the guy with the dress with the smelling perfume and the smoke and the lights and the pizzazz and the coloured angels and the whole fucking shyster story, right? The Easter Bunny laying eggs and all that shit. I thought, that fucker knows something, because everybody's bowing towards him and he's wearing the sparkly dress. So once I get in, they'll give me some secrets and then I'll fucking know, and then that'll be cool. I'll work for this guy, JC, who Anyway, I got in and they don't fucking know anything.
Oh.
There is no wisdom. There is no depth of spirit. There's no physical knowledge of life's growth in these humans. God love them.
How disheartening.
Well, it was. It wasn't too bad. I fucked off to London. Became a superstar.
So, why music and how did that
I'll think about that.
find you? Or
I think music is all about pain. It's one thing to play music. You'll meet a million people who'll say, I played music at school, I learned music at school, but I don't do it now. Or I decided to play the guitar, but it was a bit hard. It is hard unless you're in so much pain that you have to make harmonious sounds so that your body can reboot. Because you need to make harmonious sounds so your body can reboot out of the pain it's in. So then it's not difficult.
It's just like a means of attaining equilibrium.
Yeah.
Like
and then
self-regulation.
Exactly. And then other people benefit from that.
Yeah.
Because they need to do it too. And they don't know why. Why does music work? Like if I get paid to play a gig, I'm going to play a gig this afternoon in the grain store. I get paid hard cash to create something that's invisible. And the second I stop doing it, it's gone. So the money that guy's given me was for what? Nothing. Because it doesn't exist. However, there's a bunch of people that were happy I did it. They don't know why. There's a lot of fucking shady grey areas around music, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
And there's no other animal. There's some animals will do mating stomps and clacks and things, but
wiggles.
Yeah, music can be a bit of a mating stomp and all that, but I think we're the only animal that needs to do it because we're the only animal that's out of tune. It's true.
I like that.
Every other animal is in tune.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
We're the only ones. Like if I'm walking down a street at night, I'm happy to meet any fucking animal except a human. Because you don't know what you're going to get.
Well, that's the fun of it, I suppose, and the sheer terror of it sometimes as well.
There you go.
Wow. Well, that was Juices Flowing. I'm Lachlan Harvey. This has been Joe McManus.
Good night.
Good night. No, you made some really interesting points there. I'm just like, oh, what do I want to pick on first? So
why do you do it?
Why do I do it?
Yeah. See, you're here in this beautiful house. It's wonderfully artistic, incredible creative vibe from it, the whole thing. You've always been creative. Why do you bother?
Thank you. Well, that's a really good question because if you recall, 15 years ago when we first... So, backstory here. Joe was my first guitar teacher and I was listening to a lot of like fast, heavy metal kind of stuff. I was very impatient at the time. So I ended up giving it up and it was kind of forced on me. I remember really hating the guitar to begin with. I thought keyboards made sense. You've got...
Was that your dad's idea that you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then Dad got the guitar for Christmas and I was like such an ingrateful little shit. I was like, fuck, no, I don't want to play guitar. But, evidently something deeper did.
Yeah.
Anyway, for some reason, I was just impatient, right? Like I wanted to be a fucking shredder and I sucked. And I didn't practice and you'd be like, have you practiced like 10 minutes a day? And I'd be like, no, that's so much time. Looking back, I'm like, wow, if I followed his advice then, like, where would I be now? Anyway, I'm here and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
But the point is, I think I did a year of lessons with you and then was just dismayed and was like, right, fuck it, I suck. And that's it. And I stopped going. And I often recount this story actually to people who ask me about my sort of creative journey when I think 6 months or thereabouts had elapsed after we ceased our correspondence. And I ran into you at the music store in Cessnock one day and you just asked me a simple question and that was like, what are you doing? Like, why'd you stop? And I was like, I don't know. And you're like, come back and get some lessons. And then from that point, I think because it was my choice and you saw something or I don't know, like I'm curious like what it was.
Well, you're always a creative. I mean, it's a rare thing. So recently in Maitland, a girl called Liz O'Brien passed away. She was 27 and she was like you, same as me, a creative, one of those people who are doing this job. Like there's people out there who are dentists. And I was just thinking last night, what was it? There's some job. I was thinking, God, I know zero about the job that they're doing. Like there's hundreds of people, and they're all doing different things, but we're very specific in our role. Anyway, she passed away. She just she just got an ear infection and went to hospital, and it attacked her brain, and she was gone.
That's
in
so
a day
intense.
or two. It was intense, but the thing about Liz was that she was a photographer and an artist, and she'd had exhibitions in both of those, and she was a songwriter and a singer and a guitar player, and she had recorded an album with her partner Matt, and she had manifested all this beautiful stuff. So even though I was really angry, because Liz was so affectionate too, and soft and gentle and beautiful, and she just was she was good for you. You know what I mean? You know, and like the thing about me is I got angry, and so I'd go up to Woolies and I'd be walking around and I'd be looking at people going, "You fucking waste this space. You're gonna fucking eat that now and go home and just watch more fucking television. You fucking waste of fucking space." You know, and then but then I realized that Liz had so some of us are branches and some of us are leaves and some of us are part of the trunk and some of us are part of the roots. But she was a flower, and that's why it was so hard to watch her drop. But bottom line was, she manifested herself. You know what I mean? So there was a rhythm to her life. No matter how short I think it was, I've been here twice as long. Have I manifested as much as she has? Is it as pure? You know, am I... Because that's what we're all trying to do, really, is flower. Anyway, that's what I saw in you.
Right.
You know, you're one of us, like.
Well, thank you, because
and it needs to be taken seriously, like because most people don't take what we do seriously,
and I think because you took
but
it
they'd
seriously,
fucking die without us, the cons.
Absolutely, like
would.
flashback
Without music. Take music and art away for a week. See, watch people.
Take me out of the equation too, because I don't want to be here.
But people would be screaming at the trees. They wouldn't know
all
what
you
to
gotta,
do.
yeah, like all you got to think about is 2 years ago when we went into hard lockdown. What did everyone do? They turned to music.
Absolutely.
They turned to television. They turned to entertainment. That was what kept us going.
Yeah, but there's entertainment and then there's inspiration.
Yes,
like entertainment is one thing, but inspiration is a different thing. Like we have to kind of entertain to inspire almost on some level, but Jesus, there's a whole lot else going on there. Anything
you care to articulate, or is it ineffable thing?
There's a thing. Say, I play music in pubs. I don't do bigger gigs. So, but I go to pubs and clubs and I play live. Now, a guy with 6 chords and a drum machine can get the same money I get. He's entertaining. Is he inspiring? I don't know, maybe not. But the guy that owns the pub doesn't care, because the people that are drinking, they don't care, really. So there is a careful line between inspiration and entertainment.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, there's plenty of strippers out there who are wonderful entertainers, like, but beautiful, inspiring people too. Like, it's just how you do it.
Yeah, we had a moment last year which sort of just reframed things, I suppose. Like my band played a gig and we played this one song, and it was Changes by Black Sabbath, like I'm going through changes. Yeah, we played that, and then we found out afterwards that it made like a friend of my bandmates cry, and we're like, wow, that's pretty cool. Let's make that the, if we can, if we can create a space where people can feel and process something, like we're doing our job as I hesitate to use the word, but I'm going to say it anyway, mystics, as musicians.
It is, yeah.
And
people go to the acts that they want the healing from. So like if you want a thrash metal band, if you're really angry, like you need to express that, you'll go there. Or if you want to, you go to the different artists for, if they're resonating how you need healing.
Right.
Yeah.
So Joe, what gets your juices flowing?
Artistic.
Juices.
Anything juices.
There's many kinds of juices.
Jesus Christ. Jesus of Nazareth. It's Easter.
Praise the Lord. It's a big question, I know. First thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, guitars. I like guitars and what they do. So I could say music, but that's a bit general. But specifically,
but general is good because we can, we can build.
Well, music
there.
is good. I mean,
what was your first guitar?
First guitar was we had a country store at home, and we kind of sold everything like statues of the Virgin Mary, cow feed, ham, gumboots. You know what I mean? Like bicycle repair kit, like
Okay.
So proper shit, like someone comes down from the mountain in the Yukon, like after 6 months hunting for fucking beaver or whatever. You know what I mean? And they stock up in our shop, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, not so extreme, but similar.
I hear.
Anyway, we sold toys as well, little toys and bits and pieces of toys. There's this guitar in the shop. Well, first of all, my mum had a guitar, and I kind of liked the idea because she used to sing and play. Occasionally, she'd sing and play to us. But anyway, this guitar was in the shop, and I used to look at it like desiringly. But then somehow the headstock got snapped. So even though it was
you wouldn't have anything to do with that, would you?
I didn't actually. I don't know what the fuck happened, but headstock was snapped, but it was still hanging on. The strings were still in the same place, and it was still it wasn't hanging off. It was just, snap. It was significantly snapped. But anyway, I went down to Dad and I said, in the shop, and I said, Dad, that guitar is broken. Can I have it? And he looked at it and he went, yeah, go ahead. So I remember bringing it up to my room, and I was strumming, and it was all out of tune. But
how old were you at this point?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Could have been 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay. Somewhere in there.
Could have been 7. I don't know. Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Prepubescent.
Anyway, I was
post-kindergarten.
Strumming away, and it was all out of tune. It didn't matter. It was the most beautiful thing in the world. And so myself and my brother were in the same room. I must have been younger. It must have been 7. Because we were sleeping in the same room in the same double bed.
Yep.
Anyway, part of our daily sports was bouncing on the bed.
Love it.
Like a fucking lunatic. Anyway, my brother was bouncing on the bed, and he came off it like a fucking rocket and landed on the guitar. Now, that's the first time I ever remember experiencing uncontrollable rage. Like, I had never experienced that level of absolute death to this being.
So you really cared about this guitar?
Really fucking cared about the guitar, yeah.
Wow. Was it salvageable?
No. It was wrecked.
Okay. And so how long did you have to wait until another guitar came into your life?
Don't know.
Right.
I think... So the next thing I did was join the folk group in the church. And I think in order to do that, I borrowed my mum's guitar to do that. So it would have been... My mum's guitar is still somewhere, actually. It was an old Egmond, and it was nylon string. It was very strange. It was a big folk guitar, but it was nylon string. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and then I don't know how I got about getting the next one. Probably asked my father for money and got one.
Mm-hmm. And so you joined the folk group at the
folk
church?
group at the church, yeah. And those guys were good because they were all musicians at the weekend. Like, they would do gigs too. So I'd be watching their hands and learning from them. There's a guy called Michael Mulhern, and when he was growing up, he used to play like left-handed. I can never get the hang. Was that left-handed or is that... Anyway.
That's left-handed.
That's left-handed.
Yes.
So he was playing right-handed like most people.
Right.
And
Wait,
he
did
had...
you play left-handed?
I play right-handed.
Yeah.
That to me is the lead hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was working in a factory and his hand went into a roller. This hand went into a roller and he lost the top of this finger. He lost down to the second knuckle on this finger and crushed this finger. So he had to switch the damn thing around. So he switched all the strings, switched it around and learned how to play the other way. And I remember there was something about he could still play chords and he had his own way of cheating and do it. Like, because Django Reinhardt did the same thing.
Yeah, totally.
But to have it right beside you, this level of ability, of overcoming, it was a level of making the meat do what's required to make the sound, which is something that's in my head all the time. So the reason that most people stop learning an instrument is because it's hard. But if you look at, say the extreme examples of musicians around us, like Tommy Emmanuel, Tommy talks about the fact that his hands have mutated into different, like, and you can see it very physically on him. Like, I've got huge hands, but that's because I play banjo and I play a lot of stuff. So the muscles, all muscles are all going all the time. But Tommy's been very specific, and you see the thumb on his left hand because he does a lot of over the top.
Yeah.
It's very separate. Like, it looks like a mutation of it.
Okay.
So point being, he wanted to make the beautiful sound. He was willing to make the meat do whatever it took to make the beautiful sound, which applies to everything else in life. You have two choices in life. You sit and you wonder, what is my life about? What am I meant to do? Gosh, what should I do with my life? Which is a waste of fucking time. It's a waste of time, because what you're supposed to do is go, this is what I want to do with my life. I've got 5 sets of 15 years. I'm fucking doing this. I'm making the meat move to do what I need to get done, because I'm not going to be here for long. And any fucking begrudgers, enemies, or bad-mouthing motherfuckers can take a back seat. And I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. As long as I'm hurting nobody, I'm doing what I need to do, because I'm going to be dead soon. So, same as Tommy Emmanuel, for me, it was a matter of getting the hands to make the sound. And then the voice, you know, it's one big package, singing and playing for me. It's like a thing. But anyway, watching these guys in the folk group was so inspiring. Joe Egan was in the folk group too, and he would play electric, and he had a lot more lead work. I remember looking at that like it was like a mystical power. And he was great. He was a great player, and still is. And I remember one day, because it was all Catholic and stuff, and we were in this thing called the Legion of Mary, which is like, fucking look it up, pain in the arse. Right? And we used to go to the old folks. There was a lot of good in it. Like, you'd go to the old folks' homes and you'd help out, but you'd do bingo night at the old folks' homes to give them something to do, you know.
Brilliant, yeah.
But we'd also sing a few songs. But I remember cornering Michael, because you couldn't corner people at church, but at this bingo thing you could, and Michael would be playing guitar. And I remember the day. Have you got a guitar here?
Yeah.
It'd just be. Let it there.
I'll grab it. Okay. I think it's missing a top string.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I hope that's all right.
It'll be easy
Don't know how in tune it is, but
There's this thing that musicians will know about. Grim.
yeah, pretty grim. That one hasn't been touched in a while.
This thing, right? Right? That basic rock and roll thing, blues thing, whatever you want. I had heard that 1,000 times, and Chuck Berry used to play it all the time, but I did not know how to do it. But I remember out in the old folks' home, it was the old folks' home in Ros Comáin, and I remember where I was standing, and I remember saying to Michael, who was busy tuning, getting ready to do some songs, did he know how to play this thing? And he was like, what thing? And I said, oh, it's this thing. It's like, dun, 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 like, it's very hard. And I was thinking, because he was like, I'm not sure what you mean. And I was thinking, fuck it, I thought he might know, because I'd been waiting months to ask him.
Yeah.
And then he goes, is it this? And he played it. And I was like, it's that!
Yes!
And I was like, hallelujah! Like, I want that.
Fuck yeah.
And it was such a great, satisfying moment.
Oh, wow. And so, what was next?
So, the blues. Started with Elvis. Like, I got into Elvis like 2 years before he died. Because my mum or my dad had an Elvis single, and I remember listening to it, and then I could see him on the TV, and it was what he was expressing was this high level of energy, but it was based in the blues. And then going back to all the blues players, and then going back, you got to go back through the Rolling Stones, like, because when you're stuck in Ireland, you get a lot of the English music. We had a guy called Rory Gallagher who was playing the blues.
Oh yeah.
And then we had the Stones, and you had Van Morrison, and they all were based in the blues. But then when you go back to what the hell is the blues, like, the blues it comes from Africa originally, but it's like African American people using music to get more money, to entertain. Like, these people had been slaves and were trying to drag themselves out of slavery, so they all singing, all dancing African American, like, we see that as being, you know, phenomenal entertainment, but it's a phenomenal expression of pain is what it is. but it's also a phenomenal expression of, I do not want to fucking die. Please give me money. I will do whatever it takes to make a wonderful sound to get up and out of slavery. So that's why blues resonated with me, because, you know, everybody has pain. Every nation has pain. But it was very hard to turn to Irish music as an expression of, to get relief.
As an outlet for that.
Yeah, as an outlet, yeah. For some reason. I don't know why, because it just seemed so infused with the pain itself.
I see.
I'm not sure why it was hard.
So you found like this external thing to reflect back.
Which is the same thing that happened to the Stones. Same thing that happened to Eric Clapton. Same thing that happened to Peter Green. They found this outside their culture. It resonated with them and their pain. And then they just used that to kind of drag themselves out of the hole. It's like a rope. You just drag yourself out using this rope.
I like that analogy. So, okay, we've got the church folk group.
Yeah.
And how did you pivot from that into doing what you do now, like the solo?
Well, I do mostly solo because I can get paid. The more people you have in a band, you got to pay them, and that's
true.
It gets really expensive and complicated. You know, to try and get everybody working together and on the same page. And like I'm inside here, I'm not always working together and on the same page myself as an individual. So then to get 4 other guys to fucking do it, like I couldn't do it. So I learned as much as I could to play solo.
Right.
Because that means at least I can get paid and, you know, keep doing what I love. And I'm going to be doing some work coming up with Mick King, who's
you mentioned this.
Local bass player, and his son Levon is a drummer. And so that'll be fun to get back into the sort of trio thing.
Yeah, so like when was the last time you played in an ensemble sort of thing?
Well, we've got the Irish music band. Some of the
My dog is going crazy.
Dog's going nuts. What's going on?
What my dog was actually making a fuss about was our great sponsors. That is to say, this is the part of the show where I would like to take the time to spread the good word about the people and businesses kind enough to pay us to do so. Having said that, there are no sponsors of which to speak. Yet. But to give you an idea of what it may sound like, I figured I would take the opportunity to shamelessly self-promote my budding enterprises, and I'll continue to do so until someone else decides to remunerate me to do the same with their business. And no, I ain't sorry about it. But if you yourself are feeling a little sorry, sore, tired, or run down, relax, repair, and rejuvenate with a Zentai Shiatsu treatment from Happy Dragon Healing. Zentai Shiatsu is an immersive bodywork practice blending elements of Thai massage, osteopathy, and Zen Shiatsu. Underpinned by the ancient wisdom of traditional Chinese medicine, Happy Dragon Healing offers more than just a relaxing experience. By taking into account your unique story, body, and needs, a tailored, balanced, and restorative practice is the result. Happy Dragon Healing. Happy to serve. There you go. How was that? If you're interested in sponsoring the program, please get in touch and we'll see what we can do. Anyway, back to the show.
Playing Irish music with some friends in town. That's really the only time. But last time I had a trio was back in Ros Comáin, which would have been 30 years ago.
Okay, so when did you, and what was it that made you move to Australia?
I came back after my wife. I was following a woman. Yeah. I wouldn't be here otherwise.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
Yeah. Like a lost puppy. Oh.
So, okay, when did you play your first gig? Like, how did that come about?
Well, apart from the church, first gig was in a band we had at school called Shift. There's 4 of us, and we played in front of the school. And first song we ever played was "We Will Rock You" by Queen.
Right on.
Which was like 2 minutes of just bum bum chink, bum bum chink. So the drummer was doing that. I'm the lead singer, and I'm also the lead guitar player. So I'm singing the song, which goes well right to the end of the 3rd verse, because there's just no other music. That's why it was easy to start with it.
Of course.
And then I went to blister into the lead solo, and there was no sound out of the guitar.
Oh.
So then he kept going bum bum ching, bum bum ching. For 5 minutes later, we figured out my amp wasn't on. And then I launched into the guitar solo.
Oh. The crowd went wild, did they?
Everyone was just sitting there going, "What the fuck is this? Why have they been playing for 8 minutes? Just drums, and now why are they looking behind this amplifier?"
I love that.
Where was your first gig?
That's brilliant. Oh, good question. It would have been at Musitopia, the music store in Cessnock. Yeah, they started doing open mic nights there, and I learned a couple of Nirvana songs with my friend who lived down the road. We played music together, and that would have been it when I was about 17. Yeah, and that would have been on the bass guitar that you got for me when you.
Oh yeah, because we did a good bass.
Yeah,
is it gone?
There's a funny story with that bass guitar. So
stolen
and returned.
Oh
no shit. So it was a sort of parting gift in a sense. Like I paid for it. I discovered Rush, right, and that was the first time I heard bass guitar properly. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. And he was a bassist and a singer, and I was like, that's my jam.
Yeah.
And so you started teaching me like some walk and bass lines and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm so keen on the bass. Like it just resonated. And you were moving to Maitland. So we were going to cease our lessons. And on our last lesson, the one prior, I think I'd given you the money for the bass and you'd gone down to Muso's. And on the last lesson, you gave me the bass guitar. And it was kind of like, okay, like it's in your hands now. Which is awesome, thinking back on it. And I had that for, 2011? I had the bass for about 3.5 years. And then one night I was staying at a friend's place and we were jamming. And I'd loaded in half of my stuff and I was borrowing a car. This was the thing. It wasn't my car. I had actually smashed the rear window of my car on the corner of my bass amp over there. Like it was jutting out and I closed it. So I was borrowing my sister's car, which didn't have central locking. And I bought in some of my music gear, didn't bring all of it in. And I remember I was lying down about to go to sleep that night and I just had this feeling in my stomach and I was like, I should go check on the stuff. I'd parked across the road in a church car park. And I just had this feeling, like this sense to go out to the car. And sure enough, I went out there. My bass guitar was gone. My friend's pedals were gone. And I was like, fuck. And yeah, it sucked. So it took me a few months before I got another bass guitar. And then about a year later, my friend calls me. It was called the Space Bass. It was covered in like outer space stickers. My friend called me and he was like, the Space Bass has re-entered the atmosphere. And I was like, what do you mean? And he found it at the pawnbrokers on Beaumont Street there in Hamilton. And no shit, like all the stickers and all the like things I'd drawn on the faceplate had been taken off, but you could tell like there was sort of like fade marks from where the stickers and all that stuff had been. So
did you get it back?
Yeah, I'd filed the police report when I lost it. So I just walked in there and I was like, that's my bass. And they gave it back to me.
Wow. Dodgy bastards.
I know, right? But yeah, I guess the infrastructure's there. Like it was as simple as me saying it was mine, showing them.
Is that right?
I had the report and they were like, yep, there you go. So that was pretty good.
I wonder, could you bluff that?
Yeah.
No. Did you have to have a physical?
Oh, I forget how it played out. I feel like I showed them photos. It was so long ago. But anyway, by the time I got it back, I'd thoroughly bonded with my new bass. And this one had been taken from me and like stripped of all its zazz, and it didn't feel like mine anymore. Okay. So I ended up selling it to a friend. I don't know if he still has it. Maybe he does. I'm not sure. But anyway, it was funny how it came back around.
It's great.
You got any stories?
I was robbed once. Same thing, out of the back of a van. It's such a horrible feeling. Pricks.
What did you lose?
Lost 2 guitars and bunch of stuff. They rang me to sell them back to me though. That was the thing back in Ireland at the time. Well, it was the thing is, it made so much sense. So my card was in the bag. So for them to actually split it all up and sell it, it was going to be such a hassle, but I really needed it, so it made sense.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just holding it ransom.
Yeah, like proper fucking pirates.
Yeah. Wow. And did you go for it?
I was gonna, and then by that time that they rang me, I'd already sort of set myself back up again.
Yeah.
But I didn't bother. I think I set them up to meet them and then just fucking didn't go because fuck them. You know, at least give them the hassle of thinking, is that a Framus?
Yes, it is.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's.
I have a Framus banjo. Like, I really respect that brand.
I had a feeling you would.
I'll have a look at that later on.
Yeah. It's in disrepair, so that's why it just sits there. But it's
amateur guitars. Everything's fucking hacked to shit.
Yeah. Well, those guitars. I mean, neither of those guitars are mine, but I also have a guitar of mine that needs some work. So I don't know.
See, I wouldn't be having that.
Yeah.
I'd be here an hour. And they'd be all done.
Yeah. My I have a mini Maiden, and I didn't look after it when I first got it, and it needs. There was this one time I was walking in the bush, slippery mud, and I was like, I'll take my guitar with me. This is a great idea.
You fell on it.
And I fucking fell on it. Yeah. And I cracked it with my hip, and the back just like I've had a couple of guys try and fix it, and it just needs a whole new back. Basically.
Damn.
Yeah, because it just rattles.
That's not
woofs.
undoable though. It's a very doable thing.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it just means I have to send it to Maiden, and it takes like 6 months because they're in Melbourne and blah 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 blah.
Remember when I started playing guitar in that folk group? I used to walk up the street with my guitar in a soft bag, and I used to feel so fucking cool. Like I loved nothing more than doing this. Walking up the street with it.
Yeah.
But I remember because I used to carry it backwards, so like neck backwards and the body kind of.
Oh yeah.
So, but I remember walking up when I got to the top of my street, just walking along, and the wind blew, and I was swinging the guitar a bit just as I walked. Well, the next thing I went bang, and it hit a fucking low windowsill, the corner of it, knocked a hole in the back of it. I was like, oh, shit. But I don't get that feeling anymore. I don't give a shit about carrying a guitar to a car. But I'll still do it with poise.
Yeah.
I'm never just gonna.
They're fragile.
Well, it's not that. It's about carrying your samurai sword. You know what I mean? And if anybody wants to help me out with the gear, I'll always say you carry the guitar, because they, you know, if it's just somebody who doesn't play guitar, well, they get to do that. They get to pretend that they're a guitar player for that moment.
True.
I remember. Oh God, I was in London after I left the seminary and went to London to live there. I remember I was on the tube one day, and there was this guy just standing by the doors, and it was such an unusual thing because he was a very fit guy, but he was very he was wearing a two-tone suit, blue and purple kind of two-tone suit, with this fucking coolest pair of shoes, and he didn't have socks on. He actually had like stockings, like those short, like just beige kind of. And he had this guitar in a case, and it was alligator skin. And you just fucking knew that this guy is not a fucking amateur, right? But I never forget him. And I always thought, that is the top of the mountain. I've never heard him play, but just the way he carries himself with that ninja sword, he knows what he's talking about.
Wow.
Because there's a thing in the blues guys always say, there's a rule. If you're going to go and do a gig, you got to dress like you're going to the bank manager for alone. That's how you got to do it, because you got to look better than the people who are paying to see you. And you know, there's different angles on that, but I remember thinking, wow, this guitar playing ninja is the shit.
Fucking
yeah.
So what is it, you know, you say it's playing music is like this intuitive thing, like it's almost like a necessary.
It is. It's like the oyster with the pearl.
Process.
Piece of sand gets in, it's causing pain. The pearl goes, I'll wrap this pearl around it. See, that's what music is. It's us wrapping. It's us vibrating. So when I adjust the meat of my body to make this harmonious sound, therefore the meat of my body responds to the harmonious sound and becomes more harmonious. You know what I mean? If your early programming in life is which you'd say damaged, if you get damaged vibrations from your parents and so then you look for harmony. And a nice song is, because it goes into your ears and it changes your body. changes every cell, you know? So we do that because we have to survive, because otherwise I would be in a fucking asylum. Without a doubt, I would not be well. But other people don't need it as much, but they come to us to get it.
Well, I think you answered the question I was going for.
Okay.
Which was why do that in a public space?
Money. If I won the lottery, I'd busk. Because busking is the most pure form of the art.
Amen.
Because people have the option to walk by. There's no contract for them. They can just walk by. And when I busk now, I'm usually doing it to like learn more banjo or practice something I'm not good at. So, but what I'll do is I'll put on sunnies and I'll put on a big sombrero and I'll hide my face so that the contract is totally there. Give me your money if you want. If you like the sound I'm making, fine. But I don't care. And that's a beautiful interaction because you're making this vibration, and if they go like, oh, it's good, fucking, they can see them going around, because I can see them under the hat, and they go, oh Jesus, and they start shuffling for money, you know. So if I won the lottery, 50 million, I'd just busk. But as it is, I need to busk where I can inspire people to, I don't know, have a more fun night. So they're out for the night, and I can help them do that. I get more money doing that. But I also get to go home. I like going home at night.
Yeah, that's nice.
Life on the road's a fucker. Like, anybody who's done it has always said it's just a dog of a life.
Have you had much experience with that?
No. Some, but not much. Enough to know that's not for me.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, do you have any things that get your juices flowing beyond the world of music?
I like a good movie. Yeah.
You watched anything tantalizing recently?
Yeah. That I think it's The Power of the Dog. It's what it's called. It's a Western.
Okay.
And it's one of the, like, it's really good. And I've been rewatching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
The Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Like, the level of detail he has in that is just phenomenal. And I loved because when we were kids, there was a movie theater over the hill, and it's called the Blue Moon Cinema. And you get, 50 pence, and 20 pence got you in, and the others got you like a packet of chips and some chocolate. But God almighty, like, I remember going up with my friends and we saw all the Bruce Lee movies as they came out.
Right.
When we'd come out, and like, there's just no question I was Bruce Lee when I had exited that building. Like, and we would kick the shit out of each other going down the street. And imagine we were jumping over buildings. But so whoever, it was Clint Eastwood, I was Clint. I totally, in the same way that a song can change your energy, I took on the vibration of the hero in the movie because it would change my energy. Again, same thing. So yeah, movies can change my energy. But you know what? I mean, lately, meditation, yoga, exercise, they're all doing it for me now, which is really the ultimate song, is to, move the meat outside of its box. So, because you're in a habit of doing certain movements, like even the way I'm sitting on this couch, God knows. But, the potential is huge for a life to inspire and make a difference. But there's so many of us that are really, I'd say 95% of human life is just people treading water until they die. They, they just go out and they earn a living. But like, cockroaches are earning a living. Anything can earn a living. You know what I mean? Cats are earning a living. Every animal you see is earning a living. Go get enough food and go and sleep in somewhere warm. But there's got to be more. There's got to be more to this. We're obviously not doing very well as an animal. We got to get better at being on this planet. And you got people like Elon Musk who's talking about going and living on fucking Mars. It's like, just fucking take all that money and save the soil. You know what I mean? Soil is being depleted. We need the soil for food. You're not going to fucking live on Mars. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
No, it's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, but all that money and he's no fucking sense.
It's the ultimate like escapist fantasy.
It's such a fucking, what a wank. Oh, fucking, every time he goes on about it, I'm like, just, you know what? So what he's hoping to find is a planet that we can adjust, that's going to be a beautiful planet that we can live on. which is this fucking one.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's in good shape, but Jesus, we need to pull our fingers out, metaphorically and physically.
Metaphorical figure. Where has it been?
Smell it. It'll tell you.
Meditation, yoga. Delicious.
Well, it is. It's the only way. You know, people say, oh, you know, hallucinogenic drugs or, you know, psychedelic is the way to go. But the thing is, like, if you're going to go and get brain surgery and you're being wheeled into the operating theater and the you're chatting to the surgeon and he says, oh, Jesus, I had fucking such a trip last night. You know, I popped a couple of E's. You'd be like, okay, you know, maybe I'll just wait a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Whatever you say about drugs, like the captain comes on, you're just about to do a cross-Atlantic flight, and the captain says, oh, I've fucking been on the piss last night. I'm still always a bit drunk. You know, you're like, okay, look, this obviously doesn't raise your consciousness.
Right.
It obviously lowers it because you're not more conscious. Even though you are free of inhibition and you're blasting yourself with whatever the fuck chemicals that send you off on a trip. Yeah. It is a trip though. It's a trip being here anyway.
That's right.
Like 5 sets of 15. This is a short trip and it is a fucking mind-blowing trip if you can be conscious to it. Take a holiday occasionally. I like a bit of weed. Twice a year maybe. Always reminds me that being awake is easier.
Less is more.
It is, yeah.
So psychedelics, have you had much
No,
experience with
I haven't. For that reason though. I don't like the idea of chemicals going into me for no reason.
Well, what if you invented a reason? You know, did
I could
it
make up a reason.
ritualistically, you know?
If I was tied to a chair and somebody like injected me.
Oh, well, I don't think that would be a pleasant experience or...
Well, does it make my life better? Does it make me better at life? I don't think it does.
That's a really good question.
Because do I want the surgeon to have popped a knee before the theater? No. Why? Because I don't think he's going to be doing a better job or as good a job as if he was awake. So, therefore, just because we're in pain and don't want to face our reality sober doesn't mean that that's not the way to go. As you said earlier, the only way around pain is through it.
That's right.
So you got to feel it. You can blow your mind every week to get away from the pain. That's what most people do. Everybody's medicating. I've done it. You know, just one beer. You go just one beer, and you go. Now you're not awake. Now the brain is somewhat shut down. Anyway, I'm doing less of that, more of the other.
Right on.
Right on. This is a cool house.
It is, right?
It's got a great vibe, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real nice. I'll show you the backyard when we're done, if you got time.
No, I did.
Speaking of, do you have time?
I don't know. What time is it? My watch doesn't work.
It's
just
it's
pretty.
just for show.
Yeah. Well, a friend gave it to me and I really like it.
It is 10:53 a.m.
Oh, yeah, I better head.
Okay.
But that's been really nice again. Because I have an interview that you did with me, like, must be 6 years ago now.
Yeah, something like
that. I still have that on my YouTube channel. I must share that. I'll share the two of these if I can.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Should have videoed it.
Yeah.
We both look so resplendent.
I know. I wanted to, but we just dove straight in. I knew you had.
Fuck it. I should have brought my iPad. I could have put it over there.
Oh, look. Hindsight is 20/20.
Hot shit.
Anyway.
Thanks, Lachlan.
Thank you, Joe. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, I hope your juices continue to flow.
Juices of Nazareth.
Praise him.
Praise him.
And yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks.
So thank you.
You rock.
You rock too.
No, you're.
And sorry, I had one question.
Yeah. Sorry, my limo's waiting. Yeah, no, what?
All right. What's the crack with you?
What's the crack with you? Well, that was you just got the full fucking dose of what the crack is with me.
Okay, and for those who don't know, what is the crack?
Oh, the crack is, well, that's an interesting, and it's a very Irish thing. So if you've lived in Ireland for any significant amount of time, with the political environment and the weather and the fucking drizzle, we need to create our own sunshine. So in order to do that, you had to have fun. So you had to have a story ready and be ready to listen to a story or do it all night. Alcohol helped and music helped, but having the crack is generally having fun. So, like, I remember when we used to work in the shop as kids, my father and my mother would always have the latest scandal or the latest story that was going on. Now, they weren't scandal mongers. They wouldn't be telling people's business, but you had to have some funny joke or something to tell customers coming in, because they come in for the crack as much as they come in for their goods. And it's just a bunch of people like using music to raise above the vibration that's a bit low. You use the crack, which is just generally having fun. A lot of people look at the Irish and they see a trivial bunch of fucking dancing leprechauns throwing potatoes. You know what I mean? Because we're always having fun. Now that's fair enough. Like, but it's not. There's actually a depth to us. So, anyway, that's the bottom line with the crack.
Well, thank you. I'm glad we got that cleared up.
Thank you.
All right. Well, go forth and rock, and yeah,
and our roll.
It's up to you, really.
Cool.
And thanks for listening. This is another episode of Juices Flowing. Keep your juices flowing. Stay hydrated. And she'll be right.
In all of this ungodly mess, I have some things to say. Once I get them off my chest, I'm coming out to play. Where the hell do you get off being so kind to me? With both your hands around my heart and me on both my knees. I'm so very deeply tired of trying to be good. Enough is bloody well enough of everything I should. All the games I used to play don't seem to work on you. That leaves more room for having fun. Far out away we do. The quietest pain I ever saw is sitting on your chest. You're sitting mostly on your own. You're waiting for the best. In all of this ungodly mess, you've got some things to say. And once you get them off your chest, you're coming out to play.
Well, here we are again, at the end of another episode of Juices Flowing. The only thing I'd like to add is that I've interviewed Joe a few times over the years, and if you're interested in him or our relationship at all, there is a great, albeit with poor sound quality, interview between us from 5 years ago, and you can find that under my old handle, Lucky Harvey Interviews, on YouTube. It's a good yarn. It's a little more upbeat, lighthearted, easily digestible. As always, thanks for listening. Stay hydrated. Peace.